This is a 34-foot tiny home, and today we're gonna find out if you could live here. Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're new here, my name is Drew, and today we're taking an in-depth look at this 34-foot tiny home featuring 2 lofts and a main floor bedroom. But first, let's take a look on the outside. Welcome to the outside of the Mint tiny home. So again, this is 34 feet in total length, and I'll just mention a couple things about the construction while we're out here. So the siding here, this looks exactly like hardy board, and if you're unfamiliar with hardy board, it's often found on houses, and it's built from a concrete material. This is not that. This is called LP Smart siding, and what that means is this is built from a wood fiber instead of concrete fiber. And what that does is 2 things. 1, it's a lot lighter, and so in a build like this, it's important to keep that weight down. And 2, as a wood fiber product, it can move a lot more with moisture in the air where concrete cannot. So those are the 2 benefits. At the front of the home here, you're gonna have a spot where your propane cans are gonna sit, and then next to it here, this is your heat pump for your mini split heating and air conditioning unit, which we'll see inside. As we come around to the corner, this is gonna be your freshwater connection. So on board, you do have a freshwater holding tank. I believe it's 42 gallons. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen there. As we come around to the side of the trailer here, so you have 3 7,000-pound axles. This will be your furnace exhaust. Here's your city water connection right there. So if you're set up, you got plugins and hookups, that's where your water is going to be hooked up to. You have outdoor plugins down below here. This will be your sewer water outlet connection. Up top here, this is really cool. So this tiny home has hot water on demand. So it's a Truma system, and that's going to be your access to the internals of that system. Further towards the back of the home here, you're going to have cable input, and then this is going to be your 50 amp shore power. And then right next to the front door, you're gonna have a little plaque telling you who made it and where they made it. So this is built by Mint Tiny House Company here in Delta, BC, Canada. If you're looking for more information on them, I've included it in the link down below. And then right down here, you'll have another set of plugs where you can plug in. Now looking at the front door, this will give you kind of the side profile of the home. As you can see, there's lots of windows, which again is super important in tiny homes, giving you lots of natural light inside. You might not be able to see it from here, but the tiny homes do have a tin roof as well. So it's really built like a home rather than a trailer. But without further ado, let's take a look at the inside of the home. Welcome to the inside of the 34-foot tiny home. But first, before we get to the main area here, I want to show you the bedroom. Hands down, one of the best features about this floor plan is that you get this main floor bedroom. Not everybody wants to go upstairs each day just to get to a loft. Now, obviously lofts are pretty common in tiny homes, but the worst thing about having stairs up to your bedroom is that you have to burn calories to get there. Nobody wants to do that. So having a bedroom on the main floor, in my opinion, is way better. In the bedroom, you also get 2 really large dual pane windows on either side of the room and their emergency exit. And every window in the home has blinds, so you don't have to worry about privacy. For lighting in here, you get 2 LED lights above the bed, and then you have these recessed pot lights in the ceiling as well. So combining the LED lights and the natural light coming in from the windows, this is a pretty bright room. On either side of the bed, you get upper and lower cabinets. The upper cabinet has 3 adjustable shelves, and the bottom also has 3 shelves. Another nice feature is that you do get little end tables on either side of the bed. And on these end tables, you can see in the back corner there, you have a light switch that will turn on and off these lights up top, and you also have a plug-in. Another unsuspecting feature of this room is that you have under bed storage. So you just reach down here, grab and pull, and you get access to all this space underneath the bed and your freshwater tank. And so either side of the bed here, you can see you have gas struts, and so you can actually just leave it propped up like that and store a bunch of things out of the way. To further the coziness of the bedroom, you also get a TV in the corner, and that's a 12-volt TV. So if you're only hooked up to your batteries, that's actually going to run. Your heating setup in here, you'll have electric heat in the wall there, and then right at the entrance of the bedroom, you'll also have forced air heat in the floor there. Now, before we move on, there are a couple things that I would change about this space. Let me tell you what they are, and let me tell you why. The first thing I would change is the bed. The reason for that is, this is a double bed, which isn't bad, but I'm 6'4", and my wife and I are used to sleeping on a king-size bed with our dog. So this bed space is significantly smaller than what I'm used to. Could I do it? Probably. Would I want to do it? Absolutely not. Now, with all that in mind, there's an issue we've run into. As you can see, on each side of the bed here, there is cabinet space, so I can't even fit a larger bed in here. So what I think I would have done is I would have taken those out so that I could possibly put in a larger bed. And instead of having these fancy lights and headboard, I think I would have made another shelf up there just so I could have a little bit more clothing storage space. That's what I would have done. So take these out, put in a bigger bed, even a queen size bed would have been fine, and then having upper storage cabinets as well as the ones on the side here. So just my opinion. As you exit the main bedroom, you're gonna have most of your main controls on the wall here. So this is all gonna be lighting. This is your control for your forced air furnace. This is for your mini split heating and cooling system, which is actually up top here. So that's gonna do air conditioning and heat as well. And then up top here, this is where you're gonna be able to monitor your tanks, and you do have tanks on board, and then your water pump as well. The next area we come to in the house is the first main loft, which sits above the main floor bedroom. Below the stairs, you have a couple doors here. So this one's gonna give you access to a little bit of storage space. You do have cable inputs in there and 110 volt plugs. And then down below, you have your fuse box and your battery disconnect. And then on this side, you'll have a little bit of storage in there for, I guess, shoes or whatever you might put in there. Coming around to the stairs, they did include storage underneath the two first steps. I can open the first one, but the second one is covered under the wrap. So there's storage underneath those two. And then as we come up the stairs, they also included storage underneath, I think it's this one. Yeah, a little bit of storage underneath there as well. As we get to the top of the stairs here, you're gonna notice this little guy. And what this is it's a fresh air inlet. So you unscrew it like this. You can see a little bit there through the camera. You can see that this goes to the outside. And so there's a few of these around the house, and that's designed to bring fresh air in, so you always have clean air to breathe. Welcome to the first loft. So as you can see, you get 3 different windows, 2 on either side and then 1 at the back there. These 2 on the sides are both emergency exit windows, and they all, like I said before, have blinds on them. They did include this small little foamy, but keep in mind, if you were to try to bring anything bigger, that's the entrance you got to deal with. So even if you wanted a queen size or even a king size bed, it might fit in terms of the floor length you have here, but there is no way you're getting it past that entrance there. They did also include a little bit of storage space on either side and then a big TV in the middle. That's kind of weird. I probably would have just made that space cut out, and yeah, that's weird. Okay. If you're not into having a TV up here, you could, in theory, just put another shelf across here and take the TV out. And so that's gonna give you a lot more space to store clothing. In case you weren't sure, no, you can't stand up in the loft. Again, I'm 6'4", not that that even matters, but you're gonna have to bend over up here. And check it out. Once you exit the first loft, you get a view of the second loft and the living space below. So let's go check that out. Welcome to the main living area of the tiny home. And what's really nice about this area is they've actually kind of separated the living room from the kitchen, even though it's all in one space. So off to my right here, we do have this little gray couch. And what's nice about this is that it's not fixed to the floor or anything. So you can move it around, or if you want to take that out completely and use this area for something different, you can do that. Above the couch, you have a really large window. And again, it's got the shades above. And across from the couch is this TV and electric fireplace with some really nice decorative taping. The fireplace is currently on and it does give off heat, so that's gonna be a nice source of heat there. And then you have a little mantle above, and then of course the LED TV. And so this is really a comfortable living space. I really like this setup. One thing I'll point out here is look how tall the ceiling height is. One thing that's super important to keep in mind when you're building a tiny home is making the space feel a lot larger than it really is. And so when you have a tall ceiling like that and a lot of large windows that bring in lots of natural light and a light colored interior, it just makes the space feel open and big. And that's super important when you're tiny home living. Also, I really like these exposed cedar beams. Those look really good. Once we're past the living room, we now enter the kitchen. And off to our left here, this is gonna be your formal dining area, unless you're sitting on the couch and eating. But they've installed this little bar top. So if you have stools, you can set them up here and then you can eat with a view of your neighbor's tiny home. On the other side of your bar top here, you're gonna have your kitchen. And there are 2 things that are super important when it comes to a kitchen, especially in a tiny home. Number 1 is gonna be prep space and whether or not you have enough. And number 2 is storage space. So let's find out if we have enough here. This cabinet below here is pretty deceiving. So under here, you have a little bit of a shelf space there. But what's behind here is likely just either plumbing or electrical. And so they blocked this off because that space that's already in use behind there. Moving to the left underneath the kitchen sink, of course, you have a little bit of space down here, good enough to keep cleaning supplies or anything of that nature. Further to our left, we have a nice deep drawer there, a second one there, and a third one up top. And all of these have soft close hardware, so you can slam them. Continuing on down the line, underneath the oven, you're gonna have your traditional baking sheet storage tray. And then further to the left here, this is where you're gonna find your water heater bypass. So if for whatever reason you needed to winterize this unit, you can do so just down here behind this panel. See if I can pull it out. They've already installed a really neat and tidy and easy to access water heater bypass. If that's not enough for you, you also have storage space up top here. So you got one cabinet on this side with 3 shelves, another one here, fairly large with 2, and then a second one on the other side, or a third one on the other side with 3 shelves as well. On the other side of this kitchen space is where things get really serious. So on this side, above the fridge, you get another large storage spot. And on this side, this is where it really counts. So here in each door, you have lots of shelving. So I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shelves. So you got 8 shelves of space here to store anything you really need. And it's fairly deep too. Like you got a lot of space in there to store a lot of items. So this kitchen has plenty of storage. As far as counter space goes, I would say this is probably enough for me. You get a relatively decent amount of space on this side, a good amount next to the sink here, and off in the corner over here, again, quite a bit of space. And you do have plugins in the wall up top here as well. So if you need to put toaster or coffee maker there and something over here, you got room for it. In my opinion, for me and what works for me, I would say this is more than enough. If I needed more, if I was like hosting in my tiny home, I would use this maybe for a little bit more space for prep work or whatever I need. This looks like plenty for me. The kitchen also features this really nice large farmhouse style sink. And as you can see, it pushes past the counter here. So it's got a really nice aesthetic to it. And it's porcelain, so it's built solid. It's got lots of space in there to put lots of big dishes even. And above, you have a nice view out onto the parking lot. Over to our left, we do have a Furrion oven. It's not huge, but it'll get the job done. Up top, we have a Furrion 3-burner stovetop here. And then you have the range hood as well. So when I burn my food, that's gonna take the smoke out of my tiny home. Behind us here is a 10 cubic foot electric fridge, and you do have the freezer portion as well up top. Next, toward the back of the home, we have the second loft. But how do we get up there? Ladder. This is kind of a neat setup. So you have this like industrial bar here, and then you have this little nook in the corner next to the fridge where you store your ladder. So when you need to get up to the loft, you simply pull this out. This is a little difficult to do with one hand. Actually way too difficult, give me a second. And once you have it set up here, you give access to your second loft space. The second loft is very similar to the first, so you get 2 windows on either side, the larger ones, and then the one at the back there. You have the same kind of pot lighting in the ceiling, and then you get the same little foamy on the bottom here. The one thing that is different is that you don't get storage space up here, and if I take a step back down, you have 0 privacy. So everybody can see what you're doing and you can see what everyone else is doing. And last but not least, now that the ladder is out of the way, you have access to the bathroom. So here you have the foot flush toilet, which is also porcelain. So it's a nice solid toilet, but still similar to what you'd find in an RV. Against the wall here, you have your controls for your heating, your lights and fans, LED lighting up there. That's just taped off for transport. And then here's your vanity. I don't know why they didn't add a mirror, but I guess that's something you can customize yourself. The sink, so you get a plug right next to the sink. Storage, oh, that's kind of cool. You have 2 separate little spots. And then one down below as well. That's gonna be your electric heat in the wall. And then behind us here is a 1-piece fiberglass shower. Though it's not very big, it does the job. And it's just really solid. Nice install. You're not gonna have to deal with any leaks or anything. And you have the glass door here. So it's totally enclosed. Next to us on the right here, this is one of the best features of the home. You get a full-size stackable washer and dryer. So instead of those little 2-in-1 combo units that are often found in RVs, which are, by the way, terrible. If it's the only thing you have access to, it's good enough, but this is way better. And as we exit the bathroom, oh, one more thing. This does have a little pocket door here, just in case you're wondering. So no, you don't have to shower or use the toilet while everyone's watching. And as you exit the bathroom, here is the view of the rest of the home. And I love these beams. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the contrast between the cedar and the white. but man, that looks good. For more information on this tiny home or the tiny homes built by Mint Tiny House Company, I've linked their address down in the description below so you can check them out online. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up if that's something you're into. Consider hitting the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.